The No Fate channel checking in. And with supplement prices sky high here in 2022, especially for creatine, I thought it would be an ideal time to discuss, to go over, to review everything that has to do with creatine. We're going to talk about what it is, what it does, the research behind it, does it work, the different forms of creatine that are out there, the different types of supplements, tablets versus powders, and which ones are gonna be right for you. If this is your first time to the channel, give the video a like, hit that red subscribe button. On this supplement series, I'm not an expert. I don't pretend to play one on the interwebs. I just give you my own honest opinion and experience using supplements to help you make the right choice for you, to help you decide what is worth your hard-earned money. Without getting too far into the weeds, ATP is your body's energy currency. It is used especially during those short-term explosive exercises, which is why so many athletes, bodybuilders, and other people like to supplement with creatine. It is thought to have some beneficial effects with regards to blood sugar and nootropics, but we're not going to get into that with regards to today's video. How much creatine should you take in a day if you're looking to supplement? Well, based on the research and the studies, 5 grams per day should do you just right. A lot of bro science behind creatine suggests that you should load creatine when you first take it, which means take an absurd amount of creatine for the first 5 days to load your system. And research has shown that is just malarkey. You don't need to load creatine. And frankly, it's going to be a good way to waste your money because your body is going to not necessarily use all of that loaded creatine. Now, over the years, there have been a ton of different forms and types and styles of creatine, with a lot of the alternative versions marketing better absorption and easier digestion and all that good stuff. The majority of the creatine out there comes in as creatine monohydrate. That is the least expensive, and that's hard to say in 2022, but the least expensive form. It's also the most researched form, and it is the most proven form with regards to effectiveness. Creatine typically comes in the form of a white powder. It's odorless, it's tasteless, it dissolves easily in water, pre-workouts, protein shakes, whatever you want. I've even taken a spoonful of 5 grams, swallowed it, and rinsed it down with some water, and boom, Bob's your uncle, you're off to the races. When should you take your daily dose of creatine? Before your workout, during, after, at night, before bed? The reality is it doesn't necessarily matter. You're honestly going to be splitting hairs at that point. I would recommend just be consistent. If you take it in the morning, take it in the morning every day. You get the idea. There are a number of different creatine versions out there, all trying to proclaim some type of benefit. The one that I take, the one that I recommend, and the one that has been studied most extensively, creatine monohydrate. There tends to be a lot of questions regarding creatine monohydrate and Creapure creatine monohydrate, and the difference is trade name. Typical creatine comes in at a 99% accuracy with regards to the label and with regards to the purity of the creatine. Creapure creatine is a trade name version, typically made in Germany, and it allows for a higher level of accuracy, 99.9% accurate. So you do pay a little bit more, but you're also guaranteed a bit better quality. Powder or pills? Creatine monohydrate does come in both. Which one is right for you? And the truth is, it all depends. Both have pros and cons. As far as the powder, it's quick, it's easy, you can mix it with anything, but you do have to carry it around. It's a little bit more difficult to carry it with you if you do tend to travel or if you do tend to take it at a specific time where you are not home. Now, the pills are easy to transport, they are easy to carry, and frankly, they're easy to take, relatively speaking. The huge supplement pill here that comes in a tablet form is fairly big, and in order to get 5 grams, you've got to take 5 tablets at once. The Dr. Creatine from Glaxon, which is a favorite company of mine, does come in encapsulated form. This is going to be a little bit easier to digest on the system, and it's going to be a little bit easier to swallow, but you are going to have to take 6 of those in order to get 5 grams. This Dr. Creatine is time released, so that once you take it in, it dissolves in your system with respect to absorption over a much longer period of time than the powder or the huge supplements tablet version. Another form of creatine that Glaxon.com sells is electrocreatine. So this is creatine monohydrate with electrolytes built in. I'll put the ingredients panel up here somewhere, and that helps, at least in theory, shuttle that creatine into your cells so that your body is not just taking in creatine, but is absorbing it, and your body's actually getting that creatine to where it wants to go. What are the side effects when it comes to creatine? We know that in life, there's no free lunch. And when it comes to creatine, based on the research, there's actually not many negatives. One negative is bloating. Because creatine absorbs a lot of water, it's going to bring a lot of water into your cells. Some people do notice significant bloating. For me personally, I notice a tad bit more when I'm taking creatine versus when I'm not, but it's not something that I worry about, and it's not something that hinders me. But if you're worried about bloating, or if you start taking creatine and notice you've got a ton of bloating, creatine might be the issue. The other side effect is because it absorbs so much water, because it brings a ton of water into your system, you can get cramping a lot easier. So you want to make sure that if you are supplementing with creatine, that you're staying fully hydrated. And that's just good advice regardless of whether you're taking creatine or not. It's time to answer that age-old question: should companies put creatine in their pre-workout? For me, I am hit or miss. I would prefer companies to avoid creatine in their pre-workouts only because it allows the individual to decide when and where and if they take creatine on the side. For me, I don't mind creatine in pre-workouts because typically when I take my creatine for the day, it is with my pre-workout. And if the company puts it in there, I just don't take that creatine that day when I'm using that pre-workout. Which creatine is right for you and which is worth your hard-earned money? And the truth is, it's not for me to say. If you are on a budget, if you are looking to get the best bang for your buck, I would say find a creatine monohydrate from a company that you trust, that you know is going to have a high level of purity and accuracy, and go with them. If you are looking to ensure accuracy and purity, try to find Creapure creatine. It does tend to be a bit more money. If you tend to take your creatine on the go, at the gym, or you just have a hectic lifestyle, you might want to consider the pill version of creatine. It is highly convenient. And if you are concerned about cell absorption of the creatine that you're taking in, consider getting something with electrolytes in it, something that specifically has a shuttling service to drive that creatine into your cells, like Electro from Glaxon.com. There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. It all depends on what is right for you. So comment down below, let me know if you take creatine, how much, and which version you prefer. With supplement prices continuing to go up with no end in sight because of inflation and scarcity, it's always good to double down and figure out which is going to be worth your hard-earned money. If this video helped at all, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and as usual, thanks for making it to the end of the video. You and I are officially Tango and Cash, Chip and Dale, best friends. As usual, don't save anything for the trip back.